Okay, she's going to be in Indiana and Indy, whereas her wife, Alyssa Thomas, will be in Phoenix Mercury. I'm sorry. She'll be a Mercury at Phoenix Mercury, but she'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, 2.
Hello, Warriors Nation. Today, we're diving deep into some seismic shifts happening around the Golden State Warriors, a series of moves that could redefine not only the current season's trajectory, but perhaps even the team's long-term identity.
Totally different regions of the U.S., right? So again, it's like the fact that I'm sure that money talks, and Stephanie White is the head coach. I would love to play for Stephanie White. She's an amazing, incredible coach.
Before we get into the details, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another update from us. Whether you're a die-hard fan or a casual observer, the news we're about to cover promises to shake up the NBA landscape. In a season filled with unexpected twists and turns, the Warriors have once again made headlines with a blockbuster trade and some intriguing roster moves.
Putting you on Caitlin, usually DeWanna guards her.
Just game planning, trying to come up with a strategy. They beat us last time, so we had to do something different.
The front office is clearly not content with the status quo, and every decision appears to be calculated with one goal in mind: a return to elite form. Today, we'll unpack a series of trades, analyze the profiles of key players coming in, and even discuss the potential risks involved. So, sit tight as we walk you through every detail. In a move that has left many scratching their heads and others cheering in anticipation, Golden State surprised the entire league by orchestrating an unexpected trade involving the Miami Heat.
Yeah, that was about it. It was nothing behind it. They got 2 great guards, so somebody got to step up and play defense, and that's the only way to beat them. So.
The deal sent a trio of important assets: Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a prized first-round pick over to Florida. Meanwhile, veteran point guard Dennis Schroeder found a new home with the Detroit Pistons. Yet, the real headline is the arrival of none other than Jimmy Butler, a seasoned forward who many believe can be the catalyst for the Warriors' resurgence. This isn't just another trade, it's a high-stakes gamble that could pay enormous dividends if the pieces fall into place.
So just took on the challenge, and she's a great player. I know next game she's gonna come out firing, so got to go back, watch some video, and see what we can do. But there was nothing behind it. That's the only way we can win, honestly.
Butler, who recently inked a 2-year extension worth $11 million, is set to debut in a game that carries an extra layer of significance. He'll be facing none other than the Chicago Bulls, the very team that provided him with his first taste of professional basketball. This symbolic homecoming isn't just about personal redemption. It's a signal to the league that Butler is ready to reassert his presence and help lead the Warriors back into playoff contention. Closer look at Jimmy Butler. At 34 years old, Butler's career has been a roller coaster of highs and lows. After spending his early years with the Chicago Bulls, a period during which he honed the gritty, competitive edge that would define his career, Butler moved on to play for the Miami Heat.
What does Bonner's addition now mean for the Fever's title potential?
I think the Indiana Fever, with the addition of DeWanna Bonner after already adding.
However, his stint in Miami was anything but smooth. In a season marred by off-court distractions and on-court suspensions, Butler managed to appear in only 25 games. Despite averaging 17 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 8 assists per game, his time with the Heat was tarnished by 3 suspensions for conduct detrimental to the team. Since January 21st, he hasn't been on the court at all, and his limited appearances since December have raised serious questions about his consistency and role. But now, with a fresh start in Golden State, the hope is that Butler's experience, and yes, even his past frustrations, will serve as the fuel needed to spark a turnaround.
Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham are now in the championship conversation, along with the New York Liberty, the Minnesota Lynx, and the Las Vegas Aces.
DeWanna Bonner just put the entire WNBA on notice.
The Warriors currently sit at 25 wins and 26 losses, languishing in 11th place in the Western Conference, and even missing the play-in tournament. In a season where every win counts, the arrival of a player with Butler's intensity and leadership could be the turning point the franchise desperately needs. Imagine the scene. Butler stepping onto the court in a Warriors uniform, determined to prove that his competitive fire is far from extinguished. His first challenge?
And her wife, Alyssa Thomas, is fuming. Instead of joining forces with Thomas over at the Phoenix Mercury, Bonner's packed her bags for the Indiana Fever to team up with none other than Caitlin Clark.
A showdown against the Chicago Bulls, the franchise where he first emerged as a promising talent. This game isn't just another regular season contest, it's a symbolic duel, a test of whether Butler can translate his past experiences into leadership and success for a team fighting for every inch of playoff contention. A key question remains: how will Butler mesh with Golden State's established system? The Warriors have long been known for their ball movement, three-point shooting, and an unselfish style of play led by stars like Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. Adding a player of Butler's intensity introduces an entirely new dynamic. His aggressive, competitive nature could serve as both an asset and a potential friction point.
With the Indiana Fever, she will be separated from her wife, well, soon-to-be wife, Alyssa Thomas. They are currently engaged, okay? Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, for years, have been teammates at the Connecticut.
However, with coach Steve Kerr at the helm, there's every reason to believe that Butler can find his niche alongside Curry, Draymond Green, and the promising Jonathan Kuminga. Butler's leadership is not just about scoring, it's about inspiring teammates, pushing through adversity, and setting a tone for relentless effort. Bonner's decision to head to Indiana, while Thomas remains committed to the Phoenix Mercury, is a move that has left many wondering about the emotional toll it will exact. Alyssa Thomas, known for her fiery competitiveness and unwavering intensity, is reportedly reeling from the decision. Imagine for a moment the scenario. Two athletes who once celebrated victories side by side are now set to face off on opposite ends of the court.
Moves and everything, it takes you a while to get to DeWanna Bonner, but her going to Indiana is, with what they now have, they already had it. They got a team.
For Thomas, whose reputation is built on transforming frustration into fierce determination, this separation is not just a logistical change, it's a deeply personal one. Social media has exploded with reactions from fans and analysts alike. Some see it as a natural evolution in the careers of two superstar athletes, while others frame it as a betrayal, a dramatic shift in what was once a tightly knit partnership.
Adds versatility for them. Coming into this offseason, they needed a stretch four, a player who could run the floor. They got that in Howard and they got that in Bonner.
In a heartfelt social media post, Thomas admitted that the decision to pursue separate paths was anything but easy. The post resonated with fans, who saw in it a reflection of the raw emotion and difficult choices that define professional sports at the highest level. For Thomas, this isn't merely about changing teams. It's about redefining her own identity on the court in the wake of a decision that has upended her long-held expectations. For Bonner, the allure of Indiana extends beyond the chance to play with rising star Caitlin Clark or to reunite with coach Stephanie White, someone who helped shape her early career during their days in Connecticut. It's also about seizing a unique opportunity to leave her indelible mark on a franchise hungry for success.
They also got versatility by signing DeWanna Bonner. Not necessarily the sexiest, biggest name signings, but the pieces they needed to contend for a championship. I think now Indiana is in that championship conversation.
The Fever have not experienced the playoff limelight in years, and with Bonner's addition, they are positioning themselves as serious contenders. In making this move, Bonner is sending a powerful message that personal sacrifices can pave the way for collective triumphs, and that sometimes following a new vision, even one that means stepping away from the familiar, can be the catalyst for greatness. There's an added layer to this story that often gets overlooked in the frenzy surrounding star acquisitions. In bona fide championship culture, trust and familiarity between a player and coach can be as valuable as any physical skill set. For DeWanna Bonner, reuniting with coach Stephanie White isn't just a nostalgic reunion.
In DeWanna Bonner, the Indiana Fever have signed one of the all-time greats who brings major big game experience to Indiana along with...
It's a calculated decision to play in a system where she knows she can thrive. Stephanie White's coaching philosophy has always emphasized defense, ball movement, and adaptability. These are exactly the principles that have underpinned Bonner's career successes. During her time with the Connecticut Sun, Bonner flourished under a coaching staff that valued her multifaceted game, and now, with White at the helm in Indiana, she's poised to recreate that magic on a new stage. This reunion is symbolic. It's as if Bonner looked at the Fever's organizational blueprint, saw a reflection of her own aspirations, and decided that Indiana was the perfect stage to rewrite her legacy. White's move from Connecticut to Indiana has been one of the more intriguing storyline arcs of the offseason. Often described as a coach with the uncanny ability to inspire players to elevate their performance,
White literally the most experienced postseason player ever. Her 87 playoff games are more than any player in WNBA.
White's transition to the Fever marks a turning point. Not only does she bring her own wealth of experience, but she also reestablishes a familiar connection with players like Bonner, who understand firsthand how a well-structured system can translate into on-court success. For Bonner, this is more than just a reunion. It's an opportunity to pick up where she left off, to work with a coach who believes in her ability to be the difference maker in critical moments.
Very high level. She is a 6-time All-Star, making the All-Star team in each of her last 2 seasons, and has gotten MVP votes
In the intricate chess match that is professional basketball, assembling superstars is only half the battle. The real challenge lies in creating chemistry, establishing roles, and ensuring that each player's strengths are optimized for team success. The Fever's new roster reads like a who's who of the WNBA's elite, with the likes of Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and now DeWanna Bonner. Every piece of the puzzle seems perfectly in place on paper. But as any seasoned coach will tell you, talent alone does not guarantee championships. The question now becomes, can this constellation of stars gel quickly enough to make an immediate impact in the season opener? Early indicators are promising. In practice sessions and preseason scrimmages, the Fever have demonstrated an energy and cohesion that many experts believe will translate well into competitive play. Each player's role is clearly defined. Clark is tasked with orchestrating the offense,